It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast.
Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we have the youngest lineup in TOTAP history, probably as well as City having the youngest lineup on the subs bench. Dom looks at the difference between us and Dundalk. We look back at City's 4-0 win over Finn Harps. Big talking points, obviously Keith scoring 2, as well as young Donal O'Connor doing a job at centre back. Kerry tells us about his dislike of JC. And of course we round off with the mailbag before we preview my holiday to Portugal. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Alright, and welcome to Season 6, Episode 19, Episode 344 of your multi-award winning podcast. Throw us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on. Dan Casey here, and I'm joined by my two amigos. They are Declan Carey and Dominic Heffernan. Why not join us on Patreon? Patreon.com/TOTAP. Again, €5 a month to join us over there. You're just helping out the pod lads, really. We're also delighted to have, of course, NordVPN as sponsors of the podcast. Sign up now for 4 bonus months at nordvpn.com/TOTAP. You're helping the pod out and you get something back, including your 30-day money back guarantee. Declan Carey, you've departed the pod for the past 2 weeks. How does it feel to be back amongst the City fandom?
Oh, reinvigorated, Dan, and delighted to be here and be able to defend myself after all the original relegation chief slander over the last couple of weeks that I haven't been able to defend myself. And you know, there was times I was tempted to go on the WhatsApp group and just cause mayhem and chaos, but I said I'd leave it off. Enjoy my holidays with the family and kids, and I did some renovations in the Casa del Carey as well, and Carey's cave is moving along nicely. The original Rebel cave. So
that Saley contract money paid for. Saley signed above the door, I'd say.
I heard that last week as well, and I can confirm that Saley did not sponsor my trip to Clonakilty. But I cannot confirm or deny if they didn't sponsor any previous trips. So we'll just leave it there.
Dominic, what's your story? How have you been getting on since we last spoke?
Dan, how are you? Grand. I mean, it's been a great week in supporting Cork City as always. Enjoying the long weekend, loads of training and everything. So, yeah, ready to have a great night.
It's all sunshines and lollipops, lads, isn't it? Where's the?
How short do you reckon we're going to go for this week without Decky?
And Wayne is a beauty for lads. Keep it short now tonight, and by God, he's one of the worst defenders. He's just cultivated an environment where he's the guy that seems to push the short episodes, but God, he's as bad as the other fella.
I think there's no innocent parties around when it comes to dragging the arse out of the pods, though, at this stage, to be honest.
Yeah. Allegedly. But
all right, I'd never ramble on.
Yourself,
you wouldn't be like me.
Yourself and your biological father are in a world of your own, in all fairness.
Where'd you think I get it from?
Alright, so lads, we'll drive it on to a bit of Academy Watch. There was no Academy games this week, but a big congratulations to Cillian Murphy, who was today included in the Ireland Under-21 squad for friendlies against Croatia and Qatar, as well as big congratulations to Jayden Umeh, who made his Irish debut on Tuesday night against Qatar. Dominic, did you watch it? He seems to be a big fan favourite already when he was coming on, like the noise in the stadium in a dreadful game. Did slightly get better when he came on.
Yeah, definitely. He excited people because there's a lot of hype around him, and rightfully so. He's an incredibly talented player, but he's an exciting player too. And I think that's something that we've been kind of missing for a long time. So it's nice to see somebody like that again, and especially Ringmahon Rangers' very own Jayden Umeh. So it's great. And
I was listening to the Red Cove podcast, lads, and everyone in Ringmahon is absolutely delighted and proud, that he obviously served all of his development time in Ringmahon, and all of the media seems to have lumped praise on the Southside club. So, fair play to them. And yeah, it's just a pity we never had Jade at our doors in Bishopstown. And you know what? Fair play to Ringman Rangers.
We'll drive it on now to on the women's front. They're now gone out at the Women's All-Ireland Cup after a draw with Cliftonville 3-3. Will I just read out the WhatsApp from Decky that he made?
You might as well, yeah.
He wanted to make a very important point, so I don't want to mess that up for Decky. Okay. Just so you have it right for this week's pod. Obviously, when would we ever not have it right, Decky, right? Women 3-0 up away to Cliftonville in All-Ireland Cup. It's All-Ireland Cup, actually, Decky. Going through is 3-1 up against Athlone. They concede 2 to make it 3-2, and Cliftonville have a player sent off for dissent. Treaty win, so City through, but if Cliftonville equalise, they go through. 96th minute, 3-3, and City are out against 10.
I think what Decky's point was how are we in a situation here where we're up in the north playing an away game in the All-Ireland Cup in a situation like that where you're trying to hold the lead and win, and we're through to the knockout stages, and pressure's mounting, and so we're not blaming Derek Collin either.
The match was still a draw, so they scored 3 goals, which they haven't been able to do all season.
Jesus, so. Yeah, amazing stuff. So Derek has definitely done something. They've seemed to be improving in the last 3 or 4 games, and Liam Carney as well had him for a couple of games. But yeah, just I think. Just to reiterate, I think what Decky's getting at there is just it's a total shambles, and it's hard to see where it goes from here. I think we have optimism because Derek is involved, and look, from what we think and hope, it's Liam Carney and Derek Collins show from the football side of the house. So we'll see how it plays out, but it's hard really when you've got the evidence there from the last 3 or 4 years to see any light at the end of the tunnel. But look, we all pray and hope and hope that things can change. But it's a similar story on the men's side, isn't it, lads? We're top of the first division, we're guaranteed promotion more or less, but it's hard to get optimistic about the Premier Division because we just have no confidence that the same mistakes won't be made again in the next 2 windows. So let's look, but not to change to Commie Watch all of a sudden, but yeah, I think that's where Decky was getting at.
Alright, we'll drive it on to a bit of Commie Watch.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
The club have been very non-communist again this week. Dom, do you have anything for us? Because on the communism front, there's not much goings on.
Well, in terms of there hasn't been much communist activity, essentially, but I think the general running of the club, there's a couple of things that I did want to bring up. Last week, we were discussing the comparison between Cork City and Dundalk, and I wanted to look into that a bit more because I was making a point that we haven't been signing Premier Division experienced players, whereas Dundalk have, and that's the difference. So I compiled a list since Dermot Usher has come in of Premier Division players who we've signed with Premier Division experience, excluding being relegated with Cork City. So if their Premier Division experience is just being with Cork City in 2023 or 2025, that doesn't count. So in 2023 we signed Tunde and Ethan Varian. In 2024 we signed a few. There was Greg Bolger, Sean Murray, Evan McLaughlin, Shawnee Maguire and Rory Keating. In 2025 we had Alex Nolan, Rory Feely and David Adamusu. And this year we've signed Niall O'Keefe. Which people probably forget that he did have a couple of years with Watford, so he doesn't have Premier Division experience, just not a lot. Of our current squad, so that have Premier Division experience, there's in goal David Adamusu,
who doesn't play.
Defender Rory Feely, midfielders Derek Crowley, Greg Bolger, Niall O'Keefe, and strikers Rory Keating and Shawnee Maguire. So we have 7 players in our squad who have previous Premier Division experience.
Keating did get relegated in 23.
Yeah, but he had other experience he'd played with Galway. Okay. So Yeah.
Did he play with Galway in the Premier? Like they were in the first division when we stole him.
He was
from
in Pats.
Galway.
He was in Pats.
Yeah, we'll go with the Pats thing. So,
Yeah.
to compare that to Dundalk, now we can compare ourselves to them because they shagged their sisters. But in terms of signing players, 2025, they got relegated obviously, and they built a team with some Premier Division experience. So they got Gbemi Arubi, I don't know if I pronounced his first name right there, from Waterford. Keith Ward, who's a veteran of Premier Division football. Jad Hekiki, now they signed him in 2024, but still, he came from Shells. J.R. Wilson as free agent, he'd been around Conor O'Keefe and Ronan Murray. They also got 3 players in particular from the first division, Enda Minogue, Dean Ebe and Leo Gaxa, who were all, when they signed them, I was like, fuck, I was expecting them to go to the Premier Division, having watched them the previous year in the first division. So they built a strong team in the first division. Then when they got promoted, they improved on that again. They brought in Danny Mullen, Tyreek Wilson, Rob Cornwall, Bobby Burns, Keith Buckley, Connor Kearns and Declan McDade, all experienced Premier Division footballers. And they also added Ronan Tehan and Harvey Warren, who were again first division players who were kind of stand out in the first division. So their current team who had Premier Division experience before this season, they have Connor Kearns, Peter Cherry, Bobby Burns, Darryl Horgan, Gbemi Arubi, Tyreek Wilson, Rob Cornwall, Declan McDade, J.R. Wilson, Danny Mullen and Conor O'Keefe. And I mean, that it's just stark when you compare the two. It's like just this season alone, they probably signed as many Premier Division experienced players as we have since 2023.
Yeah, it just goes to show you when they're willing to get the fucking wallet out, basically, like, isn't it?
It's the
And
importance.
look what they are now.
Exactly. Like, we can look, and do you know what? It was a very promising game on Friday. It was a better game, but it was one that you were thinking, not that not to really stood out, but you were kind of thinking, you know, there were times when you used to leave Turner's Cross buzzing, expecting, you'd come into Turner's Cross expecting to win, you'd leave Turner's Cross buzzing when we were a big team. And you're thinking all season, you're like, it's so far away, are we ever going to get back to that? But Dundalk were able to do it, and that's how they were able to do it. And if we do the same thing, then we can get back there. But if we're going to cheap out again, then we're in trouble. Like, just look at the size of our squad this season. So we have an injury crisis at the moment. Our injury crisis is Shawnee Maguire, who I think he's meant to be back soon from what I've heard. Rory Feely, who is a big loss. Matt Kiernan, who's a 19-year-old backup left-back. Josh Fitzpatrick, who has no end product and he is just a first division player. Charlie Hanover, who's a child, and now Harry Nevin after Friday. So that's only that's 6 players. And we have an injury crisis and we can't fill the bench. We went cheap. These are the consequences. We all talk about how we need to replace so many players. We can't even think about getting rid of any players because we have so many players we need to get in just to fill out the squad.
Are Cork City a big club? Do you think that Cork City, in the here and now, are a big club?
In the here and now, it depends on your definition of a big club. Like, obviously, we're one of the most successful teams. We're one of the biggest teams. We've got some of the biggest following. Even now in the first division, there are times when we have bigger attendances, and nobody's coming this year. We're talking about how we've nobody following us, but we've bigger attendances than a lot of Premier Division matches. We're certainly a big club, but it's a case of how long can you stay as a big club without acting like a big club before you actually do lose the title. Like, all along, up until this year, and it was always the case, Cork City are in a big club going through a bad spell. But we are at risk of slipping away and not being a big club anymore. As of now, yes, we are. We're one of the biggest clubs in the country.
Declan Carey, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Yeah, I just think he'd stop at any stage there, Dan, so thanks for bringing me in. I told you I'd be able to get every one of you, all this relegation chief stuff. You're all dead to me. No, Dan, I kind of agree with Dominic there. Like, I think we're probably, and I think we said this the last time we got relegated, but I think we're a promotion and a relegation away from just being complete and utter laughing stocks now in the league, and there being no way out of it. I think I
think people don't give a shit about us like in the here and now. I think that's already happened.
The
I know from just even going around doing Vox Pops and things, the lack of hate that I get on those like League of Ireland ones is like they just nothing Cork City. Like, they just do not think of us as anything.
It's because we've been out of mind for so long, Dan, to be honest. And even when we have been up there, then we've just been taking drubbings really from teams and never really laid a punch on any Premier Division teams when we did get promoted. Aside from that time we beat Shamrock Rovers when they got down to 7 men or whatever, like that's probably about the only memorable one. But it's a very, very, very tough time for the club, and the next 18 months are just absolutely crucial. And if we do go up and get relegated again, that's it. Like, I think the Cork public will lose all serious kind of graw for the club, I think, in general, and we will just be relying on somewhere that adults will bring kids on a Friday night, especially over the summer now, just to pass away a couple of hours on a bright Friday evening, rather than actually having hardcore support that really care.
But that's
about
what you get when you have an owner who cares more about the match day experience and getting out and meeting those pals on a Friday instead of winning football matches.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Like, and the proof is in the pudding, as we can see. Like, the attendances are positive, but like the amount of like people, and I'm kind of articulating this in a bad way, but like the amount of people I know that are going to the Cross now and just they've never been in the last 10, 20 years. They could be friends of my missus, or friends of some of my own drinking buddies and stuff like that, and they'll say, geez, I was out in Turner's Cross last Friday night with a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old or whatever. It was a great old night and he loved it and whatever. And like, again, I don't want that to sound negative, but like, are we just going to turn into that it's a handy place to go on a Friday night, rather than like, come on, we are Cork City and we want to put it up to the big teams in Dublin and we want to get out of this shit and not be just beating the likes of Harps 4-0. I want to be in a 4-2 Munster derby against Waterford, or I want to put it up to Shamrock when they come down and make sure that they don't have an easy game, and I want to beat Bows at home and go up to Dalymount and get a result and that kind of stuff, like, and be mainstream news and be on people's lips for like footballing reasons, rather than it was a nice old night on a Friday evening, saw a couple of goals, and my young fella got a selfie with Shawnee Maguire outside the ground. These are all good things, but like ultimately, like, if you're not at the top end of the Premier, you're just going to be forgotten fodder in this League of Ireland. And we've already gone through the kind of post-pandemic era, and we had a huge chance. Like, we got promoted in 2022 and there was big buzz. We had Colin Healy as manager, we had new owners, we were a big rich private investor coming in, and it was all shoots and sunshines and lollipops, and it's just been disaster since.
And Dick said very well there that, like, going to a Cork City match shouldn't be about the occasion, shouldn't be about, oh look, we had this day out. That should be a part of it. But you get people in from that by winning, by succeeding, by being a successful big thing. You want people to talk about Cork City as this massive football team, footballing giants, as we mentioned last week. But at the moment, people are going kind of just for something to do, which is fine. It's better than people not going. So we certainly won't complain about that. But is there a passionate support out there anymore? Dick said that that if we were to be relegated again, that we'd become a laughing stock in the league. I think we're already there.
I think we are too. No one cares about us.
But we are top of the first division and comfortably probably going to win the league by about 20 to 25 points. So we us as football fans, lads, we have to have some optimism like that. There, something can change, especially learning from the mistakes of the past, etc., etc. These pods actually sound like the ones from 2 years ago, like, don't they? When Clancy was managing.
Well, yeah, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since the Genk game down in the Cross, and they've been in Europa League, finished on the same points as Roma in the Europa League, playing Rangers, playing Dynamo Zagreb, and
yeah, they got to the
knockouts in their
Europa League, like, didn't they? Yeah.
We are where we are now. Like, it's just incredible.
But Dan, when you think about that, like, but like Belgian football and all that, as you know, like, is just like we could talk here all night about even just Belgian football as a whole in the last 10 to 15 years versus Irish football. Like, look at the teams we have there playing for Ireland at a national level versus Belgium. Like, and even countries like Iceland and all that, like, they have like long-term footballing development strategies. We just have like, punch our way out of a corner every year, like, and that's at all levels of the game all over the country.
Yeah, it's all about putting out fires and just getting day to day. Whereas there's so much
qualify for the next major tournament. Like,
like, I really see so many ways that we can improve Irish football, and I do think, from what I'm seeing in different teams that I would be involved with, is a lot more emphasis on training now, which is great, and that will pay off eventually. But the problem is, we need to be doing more, and there's a lot more that we need to be doing in general there. But just to come back to Cork City,
like, Dan, to be honest, when I was chairman at the time, and I actually heard people involved in the FAI bemoaning the fact that this new Brexit rule came in, or whatever, that like players couldn't go to England now before the age of 18. And I was just like, lads, how, like, it's actually unbelievably demoralising. And it's one of the reasons I wake up these days and think, like, I'm so glad I'm on this podcast and I'm not the chairman of the club and have to deal with that nonsense. Like, how can you be so short-sighted that, like, when that comes in, you like, oh God, no, we don't have the Championship, League One and League Two teams to develop our national team, and how are we going to qualify for major tournaments? If only we had our own league and academy structures and development strategies. If only. Anyway,
now we get to talk about dog and spots around Cork. Joe Campbell and Craig Donnellan, they're back in with the under-13 development squad. Kerry, your thoughts on this one?
I've great time for Joe. He was the assistant to Neil Fenn when he was the manager, and look, I think it's a positive thing that he's back at the club. He's got unbelievably high standards, a lot like Derek in that sense. Fantastic coaching background, does private coaching as well, I believe, has his own kind of school kind of thing, and unbelievable from a strength conditioning perspective, like hugely knowledgeable there. So like maybe he's been brought in as well from like the youngest age group we have to get players on the right path there in terms of like the physical aspect of the game. I don't know Craig Donnellan too well at all, but I've heard good things about him from some buddies of his, and when the news came out. So look, it's good news. Good to see Joe back, and it's good that these guys seem to be coming back. Then we had Derek come back, and Joe now as well. Now Joe was let go by the club when Neil Fenn left, so he hasn't been in an official coaching role since. So it's good that 6 years later now he's back.
Dom, what do you make of it briefly?
Yeah, I think it's promising. It's great to get people like that in, and like Kerry just said there, we've gotten Joe Gamble back, we've gotten Derek in recently, so it makes you all of this after Liam Kearney was appointed as director of football. So you wonder, clearly it's the Liam Kearney effect, and I'm all for that.
Make Cork City Cork again is what it seems to be. What it seems to be at the moment. All right, I think that's it for all the communist activity or comes and goes. We fair dragged the arse out of the first conversation. But anyway, to talk about the game, Cork City, of course, beating Finn Harps 4-0. Dominic, we'll start with the main man, Keats, back on the score sheet. Is he back?
I think so. Yeah. You could see it in the treaty game. After he got the penalty, he perked up a lot and he went to a level above what we were seeing. And you could see even all of Friday, like he got 2 goals. I'm always a big fan of not just looking at the goals, looking at what they do when they're not scoring. And he was just very good, I thought, which is great to see. Like he's still not 100% himself, but that was the best performance we've seen from Keating all season, I think.
Yeah, and he, I just to tack on to that, Tom, like it wasn't just the 2 goals he got. Like he had other chances, which was good. Like I think even Bridges' goal that kind of bumped. I think that was Keating's shot. It should have scored probably. But look, he was in good areas, got good efforts on target. Whereas I think like in previous weeks he wasn't even getting shots on target and he was like mishitting the ball, and he was, you know, a lot of the time I was a bit worried for him, like that, like things just weren't going right. And even when he was making these flash appearances, and he got dropped for a few weeks and he was coming off the bench. And but look, I think kudos to the management and to Keats himself for getting himself back in what looks like good run of form, and he could have had 3 or 4 easily.
That game could have been 5 or 6-0, really.
Yeah, without a doubt.
If it wasn't for their goalkeeper, who I don't think is even their first choice goalkeeper.
He pulled off some unbelievable saves.
Like, it was very good.
Brilliant save there from Murphy's shot, and there was could have been 6 or 7-0, but a great opportunity for Keating to get back into form. And he's been doing well with Mpango up front. I think 2 of them haven't they? That's in fairness.
And do you know what? It's one of those things, and I'm not saying I think this, but it does raise the question, like we were all for only one of Keating or Mpango can start, so who'd you drop? And it was, Keating has to be dropped because he's on poor form. He hasn't been scoring where Shawnee and Mpango had. When Shawnee comes back, I mean, he hasn't scored since the start of April, so
yeah.
Is there an argument that he doesn't walk back into the team? I don't think so. I would be putting him back into the team, but there could be the argument there against it.
I would put him back down, but put him in that number 10 role, or the attacking midfield kind of cam, as the kids call it these days, Dan, is it? Jesus Christ.
Do they? What kids do be listening to? I don't. Maybe even I'm too old for it now.
I think you are, yeah. My nephew there is absolutely painful with all these phrases and whatever. Like,
is cam a new phrase?
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, it's centre attacking midfield. I'd just say 10.
Yeah, but they say cam. They've turned the acronym into a word, and Anyway, it's
back in our day. Back in our day, they were a good number 10. That was it.
Do you remember this whole false 9 thing? That was another one that came out of nowhere 10 years ago too, and it was all the buzz, and like that was never there in the 90s or the early 90s, and no, then we false 9s and cams and
false 9
low block. Low block is another new one that came in the last 3 or 4 years. It's like, what, low block? What, they're like defending?
Low block is.
Anyway.
I'm not going to go into that. Don't get me started.
I know.
But yeah,
so anyway, lads, you were happy enough for Rory Keaton anyway.
Yeah, delighted. This pod's got to be 2 hours.
All right, if you're Odamusu, are you not fucking raging that Brand
Absolutely.
Got we're all saying, oh sure, look, he'll start on Friday anyway. Sure, that's his minutes in the bag. Well, I probably thought they were in the bag the week before as well, to be honest. So Brand gone away. Jesus Christ,
I said it in the WhatsApp group, lad. So and to be fair, Brand had a brilliant game as well. Kept a clean sheet and pulled off some decent saves. But so it's kind of. But at the end of the day as well, I made a point on the WhatsApp. It's like, geez, if Odamusu can't get in now, that was the obvious game. yeah, that was the obvious game for the management to just say, Ara, Brand's off with the Ireland team. Let's rest him and let's not risk him. And, you know, it's a good thing for Brand too, like where the management say, yeah, Conor, geez, you've a great chance here now. Well, not to go off training with Ireland. It'd be awful now if you sprained your wrist or something and you couldn't get to experience that training camp and all that stuff. He was very unlikely to make an appearance, but like, you know, that was the time to change the goalkeeper, and he didn't. Like, the Robson left it till the absolute last minute, like in terms of Brand jetted off then to meet the Ireland team. Was it the next day? Like, was that really necessary? Like, we're 12 points clear.
Like, just on that, I'm absolutely delighted for Conor Brand, because I was just skeptical of him for that, but since he's gotten that call up, he's been absolutely incredible. And I was watching the Qatar game on Thursday, and I was thinking, it's just really nice thing. He's sitting on the bench there. Like, you're just thinking, whether he plays or not, he deserves this great experience. Delight for him. But in saying that, you have to think then for poor David Adamusu, like, he had to have been throughout the whole week, or even he would have been fully expecting to be playing that match. And now nobody's entitled to any minutes. Nobody has a divine right to be playing. But when he was brought in as the number one goalkeeper, we paid money for him, and then he gets an injury after 3 games, and that's it, he's done. So you're thinking, like, we have to give him a bit of game time at some point. Maybe it's when we win the league, when we have it officially done, just so that we can have a look at him and see, is he worth keeping for next year? I think even if we want to keep him for next year, I wouldn't blame him for wanting to run away from it. But you don't want him leaving having felt he didn't get the opportunity either.
And he didn't even play in the Munster Senior Cup final either.
Exactly,
like, which I suppose, look, someone listening to this now will be like, look, that was the under-20s squad and it was the under-20s coaches and all that stuff. But, like, surely you throw in your sub-goalie there just to keep him kind of active, and Bran is heading off as well now with the Irish training camp and all that, and you might just be thinking, oh, well, geez, he could pick up a knock there, or he could get sick or something. Geez, you know, the goalkeeper would be the one position for that Munster Senior Cup thing where I would say, yeah, do you know what? Or if we had a player like Shawnee or Keats that was coming back from injury, you can then drop 1 or 2 of your under-20s. But look, that's just my opinion on it. I'm sure then people would say, oh, it's very harsh then on the under-20s goalkeeper when the rest of his teammates are out. But, like, sorry, lads, this is football at the end of the day. We're a professional team and we should be, you know. But look, that's just my own thoughts on it.
But a big issue that I have is, when was it decided that Bran was going to be playing? Because he was in the Irish squad on Thursday night, and then he was down for Cork City on Friday night. They couldn't have known. I mean, nobody expected Bran to actually play, but for all you know, in a friendly, he might have played one team for the first 45 minutes and changed it for the second 45 minutes, or he could have thrown Bran on at the end or something. He could have gotten minutes. You can't bank on the fact that he's not going to play. So clearly it was a case, right, we'll wait and see whether he plays for Ireland on Thursday, and if he doesn't, then we'll put him in. So the decision must have only been made Thursday night. But even that, I have an issue with, because, or even the fact that he didn't play, I still have an issue with it, because the match was over whatever time. He probably didn't get back to the hotel, because with the Irish squad, once the match is over, they go up, they meet their family in
did he drive straight back to Cork after the game, like? I
would imagine he probably stayed in a hotel with the squad.
Back the next morning, and
yeah, so he probably. But if you think about it, he wouldn't have been back to the hotel till about 11:30ish. Probably wouldn't have been buzzing with the occasion, so you're not going to go straight to sleep. So it might have been about 1 a.m. before he was actually gone to sleep. Up the next morning, breakfast with the squad, and in the car for 3 or 4 hours back to Cork, and all that drive down, he couldn't have been expecting to be playing. Whereas Adamusu would have been expecting to be playing.
Obviously, missed training with us on the Thursday, and
that's the thing.
Look, I don't know.
And then the fact that he flew out with the squad then the next day, and I think it was Saturday, didn't he fly out? So could have saved him a trip coming down to Cork. He could have just gone with the rest of the squad. It was just unnecessary. I don't know, but in saying that, again, it does have to be pointed out that Bran, like, we're not saying that Bran needs to be dropped, that we want to see Adamusu playing because we don't like Bran, because, I mean, he's got 4 clean sheets in a row, he's got 8 all season. he's only conceded 3 goals in all of May, and I think it's 11 goals all season.
I think the frustrating thing, Dom, is, as you said, we signed this guy 12 months ago almost. We paid a fucking fee for him, and he's Jesus, like.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I do think that
I think we're dying for, like, someone to show us, like, oh yeah, geez, actually, he's a decent goalie, and, you know, he was worth the money we paid, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, he's a good backup to have in case Brand gets injured, and, you know.
Did we pay a fee for him?
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Was it 30 grand, was it?
I don't know the amount, but it was in the press release, like, an undisclosed fee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would say it's in the tens of thousands then, in my opinion.
Okay. Jeez. Moving on. O'Connor. Dom, what did you make of this young man?
I was very impressed. Like, he seemed like somebody who's been playing professional football for years. You would not think that he's only a young fella. And he just seemed so confident, so assured. He was very... I don't want to put pressure on him. I don't want to be throwing things out like this, but could you be arguing that he's made Barry Robson, or he's given Barry Robson a question as to whether he should be staying there more often in the starting 11? But, like, there were a couple of things in the first half. He made a couple of great last-ditch tackles, which is always nice to see. But there was a couple of times that I think there was one point he took a touch out towards a player who was going down the wing, and then there was one of the Finn Harps players, I think it was Lamingo, came into him, and he took a touch inside, basically sat him down, and then just went around him. He just looked so in control of the ball. I really rated him anyway.
Kerry, what's your opinion on it? Are you keeping Kelleher out more for O'Connor? I can't see it happening just because of the way Robson seems to be.
Happen, but
Kelleher's our captain, isn't he, or whatever? Like, but yeah, it's hard to see that happen on a consistent basis. But, like, Jesus, he's it's like, look, it's one game, as we said here, lads. Finn Harps were very, very poor, but again, it was a good game to give this guy a run and see what he can do, and he was very solid. And yeah, what more can you say? Fair play to him, like, and he rose to the occasion. There was over 2,000 at the Cross as well, like, and wasn't a tiny crowd. So yeah, I think he's done well, and yeah, fair play to him. It's good to see that we still have this drip feed of players coming through from our academy teams, and this Liam is obviously delivering the goods there, but then it's up to senior management, I guess, now, but and Liam as director of football to turn them into Premier Division quality players, or cash in on them potentially. But let's see how that plays.
Surprised Tom McGrath didn't get game time as well.
Yeah, that was something. And, like, overall, I thought the game was quite good, but there were a couple of negatives, a couple of problems that I had with it. And, like, the bench that we had in general, we had 7 players on the bench, which is too short of filling it. So 6 outfield players. Bridge is a fine player to have on the bench at this level. Matthew Murray, who I do definitely rate, and then after that it was all young fellas who hadn't gotten any game time. So Tom McGrath, Luke Downey, Denzel Abenje, and Fonseca, the fellow came on
as well. Yeah,
he did, but none of those played a minute. Abenje and Fonseca hadn't even been on the bench. I think I tried to look back throughout the season. I think they've only been on the bench about 2 or 3 times. Like, our average age was 19 on our bench, and when you take out Adamusu, it was 18. But, like, another issue I had was the substitutions that we made in general. So, like, we had to make an early substitution of Nevin for AJ Bridge, and we pushed Niall O'Keefe into right back, which was probably a good idea, good move. But we had 4 substitutions that we could make after that in 2 windows. In the 63rd minute, Matt Murray came on for Greg Bolger. We're 3-0 up at that point, and we're looking comfortable. You can make more substitutions. You don't have to play it safe. So, but maybe you don't want to make too many. You don't want to bring on too much inexperience, and then if things start to turn badly, like we're not going to throw away a 3-goal lead at that point. But if we throw away, if it finishes 3-2 or something, we make 2 mistakes, that's pressure, that's negativity on those players, and it'll knock their confidence. So you don't want to change around too much, but bring on Murray, bring on Tom McGrath at that point. That would have been the right thing to do. Then, like in the 76th minute, we put on Fonseca, and we could have also put on Downey or Abenje at that point too. Like this was the 76th minute, we were 3-0 up. You can start to give people game time. If we've said it before, and this was the absolute perfect example of if they're not going to play on Friday against Finn Harps when you're 3-0 up with only a couple of minutes to go, and Finn Harps were as poor as they were, and they were very poor. They weren't going to give us any trouble. That's the time when you give fellas minutes. Like what is the plan? What is Luke Downey or Denzel Abenje or Tom McGrath thinking now? Am I going to be brought on when we're 1-0 down against Cove and we're chasing the game? They want us to get a goal somehow. These are the
missed opportunities. Yeah, it's not like they had a game on the Saturday or they were travelling up to,
That's the thing. It was the perfect opportunity for them. But overall though, it was a good game in the sense that Finn Harps were very poor, but you can only play what's in front of you. And we did that very well. So while Finn Harps were shite, we dealt with them very well. And a lot of the game was still very boring. There were large parts, particularly in the second half. Not like we had the game won, but it wasn't game management. And I said this last week as well, that there's a difference between game management and what we're seeing. This isn't trying to see out a win and trying to be safe. This is just boring football. This is it's been decided that that's what we as Cork City fans deserve. But for the most part, though, it was a much better performance. It was quite. There were a lot of.
What did you make of Niall O'Keefe?
Do you know, I thought Niall O'Keefe. I actually, I did think he was very good, and I was sitting over in the Derrynane Road, and he was kind of right in front of me for the second half, and I was like,
"So you were having a good look at him," I'd say.
Definitely, I was like. He's definitely not overweight. He's fine. He's fine. And he's done very well for himself. And I'm delighted for him. Now, I do have a note here, like Niall O'Keefe and Cillian Murphy were two kind of standout players for me on the day. I thought they both did very good.
Yeah, a lot of play went to them. Niall was unlucky to get himself, not to get himself a goal as well.
Oh, what a chance he had there. And that was in the
first half. He would have ran towards the Derrynane Cup in his air, Dominic, without a shadow of a doubt.
He stuck the ball up his top, I'd say.
There you go now, Niall, if you're listening to this, that's your celebration.
That's it. Definitely would have taken the jersey off or something. But that time, he picked the ball up, he'd taken it around two players, and it was just after Rory Keaton's first goal when he did the exact same thing. So Rory Keaton actually used the outside of his left leg to cut inside on, was it Bradley Walsh, the young fella for them, and scored the goal. Then literally only a couple of minutes later, Niall O'Keefe came out and he did differently. He used the inside of his right foot to cut inside in the exact same spot. Sorry, I'm boring you again.
It was actually something I noticed, that for those, it seemed like, I don't know, was it just a coincidence? Like Keating's goal, he took it around the goalkeeper. Impongo's goal as well, he didn't snatch at it when it fell to him. He kind of calmed himself, which is the sign of, I don't know, is it a sign of confidence or is it the sign of Robson as the manager telling them make sure you fucking hit the target, don't be snatching at chances, because it seemed like a trend like that they were trying to take it around the goalie and make sure of it rather than snatch at a shot.
Yeah, definitely, but I don't really like that, particularly from Pongo's goal. I think he should have, now it doesn't matter because he scored, but he probably should have taken it sooner rather than trying to walk it in, because had he not scored, if he'd slowed it down enough that they were able to get back, it would have been roared at that, why didn't you just fucking shoot it?
Fair enough.
So But
What do you
that's
make
interesting.
of what do you make of Bridges' goal? Like, did he mean it?
Brilliant.
Like, did it just hit off him? Like what?
No, he definitely
He
went
seemed
to
shocked
kick it
himself.
when he slipped.
Yeah. It was a kind of a desperate leg at it, and it just happened to go in the fucking top corner. Like,
Screamer.
You love to see that when you're so good that you're scoring goals accidentally. It's a great sign.
yeah. It was one of those ones that I just considered. Yeah.
Right. I think we'll park it there, lads. That's it for the first half. So Tapper, come back to us, or stay with us rather, as we have the mailbag in a second.
Hey there, Toe Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mikado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/toetap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.
And welcome back to part 2, So Tapper. Before the mailbag, Dom, you wanted to say something as we discussed at halftime.
This better be good.
Yes, this is riveting stuff. The referee on Friday was Mark Patchell, who I have been informed is actually Alan Patchell, the other referee's brother. And he was shite, just like his brother Alan. There was a lot of time. Cillian Murphy, 16-year-old Cillian Murphy, the youngster, he was getting manhandled altogether, particularly on the right wing in the first half a lot. We should have gotten a penalty for it. There was one time he was wrestled to the ground almost, but he stayed standing, and that was why he didn't get a penalty. If he'd gone down, he probably would have. But he was getting kicked and thrown all around the place, and very little done, very little protection from the referee there.
Alright, fuck it, we'll drive it on. It's now time for your mailbag.
That was, I agree with you, Dom. That was riveting. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
Segment of the week.
Postman pattern in black and white cat. The cat mix race. Early in the morning, one bagger man is yawning. Him pick up.
Roy O'Sullivan, who is the biggest rat in the history as a club? Ollie, Mbeng, Josh, Billy Dorney anyway, he replies to it. Josh for me, Roy.
Yeah, Josh for me as well. I despise him.
Has to be JC, lads.
You hate him. You fucking hate him.
This is a personal thing, though.
Which JC, though? I didn't specify.
Are you Satan in disguise?
I leave that up to the listeners' imaginations.
I wonder who you could have been talking about. No, I can't give to John Caulfield.
I'm team John Caulfield anyway when it comes to...
I understand. Sorry, Dec.
Look, he hates Kerry as well, so I'd say, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you know too much, lads, you know too much. What can I do? I can't forget things, sadly. And then can't divulge either a lot of details.
That's the thing, because
I only gave an issue.
That's the perfect argument for you. Look, lads, I can't say anything now. You know, but you know yourself. You know,
you just have to use your imaginations.
You don't give information to us, which is kind of hard to work out what it is. So, if there's something really bad there, then we don't know about it, so we can't go off.
He called him the original relegation chief once, and that's where this all started.
Oh God!
Anthony, is the Saley offer still active? If Kerry needs a new kitchen, I'd say maybe it is. It is though. Saley.com/toe tap. There you go.
Yeah, that's it. I think Wayne used it as well. I'm looking forward to that when Wayne comes back. I think he used it. So, we'll see about that when Wayne comes back.
Billy Darley asks, Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet, Daddy? So, Dom, I think that one's for you.
How did that one come to me? Are we there? I presume he's talking about the season, which, do you know what? No, I don't want to be negative. I was trying to be very positive this week because I don't like complaining. I don't like bitching and moaning and stuff, which might come as a shock to you. But no, this year I was thinking about this. This is the first year, even as bad as last season was, as bad as 2024 was. When it comes to about halfway point in the season, you're like, I don't want the season to be over. I still want to be going watching your team. But I actually can't wait for the off season. Like, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're nearly there.
The amount of toe tap specials and 955 lives.
We won't be back next week, alright? I'm saying it early because we'll mention at the end and no one will be listening by that stage. Alright, there will be no pod next week in case you're waiting. Dom, you were once, you'd once regret it, or once be given out about it, that if there was no pod, but now, as a toe tapper, or a toe tap podcaster, I should say, you understand.
Yeah, it is tough, to be fair. It's tough, but that's just a reflection on this season, I think.
But lads, let's be honest,
beforehand,
if something happens, I'm sure there might be an episode. Like, we don't want to let the club off the hook that easy. Are we to announce that there won't be an episode next week? So you never know. We could always spring up a Patreon special, or if there's big news.
Toe Tap can strike anytime, any place.
Toe Tap Towers is highly mobile, especially with NordVPN. Sign up now at nordvpn.com/ToeTap.
955 Live, it could be Patreon. Who knows? It could be at any time.
I was actually looking at our software here, lads, before I joined tonight, and you can do like webinars and stuff. That might be an interesting one. We could
Why I hate John Caulfield by Declan Carey.
This is
the
my
whole
TED
webinar
talk.
I can't tell you. I hate him for reason A, which is redacted. Reason B, also redacted. Reason C, his book. Reason D, I'm going to redact that. So make sure you're taking notes.
Thanks to all our Patreon questions there. So we'll drive it on to our questions from X. Turner's Cross Cat asks, please consider my issue with international footballers depleting our squad and management a mailbag question.
What's he on about there? Is he meowing about like Bran being called up or what? Or I didn't quite understand the question.
It's the only depletion from the squad, so...
Is it Cillian Murphy's getting called up to the under-21s as well? So I suppose he might miss a game, would he? Or I don't know.
I did call it out earlier, not knowing when those games were, by the way. But look, he will surely miss a game. Owen Donovan, great win Friday night against Finn Harps. Great to see Keating back on the score sheet, but he's still not good enough for the Premier Division, I fear. If we want to stay up next season, gonna have to sell 8 or 9 players and sign 3 or 4 quality players. Is Keating good enough for the first Premier Division, Tom?
I think so. Like, obviously, he's been poor enough this season, but we're starting, like I said it from the start of the season, I always backed him, I always supported him and knew that he'd get it right eventually, and I think we're starting to see that now. Is he good enough for the Premier Division? Like, we can't base it off this season, we can base it off 2023 when he was by far our best player then. So yeah, I think
he's done it for the club. Yeah, he's proven it for Cork City when he was in an abysmal squad, let's be honest, with some really bad eggs, and he scored goals and he did very well. And the year prior, he was fantastic as well to like win the first division against a very competitive division as it was that year with Waterford and Galway and the likes. And obviously he's been through tough times. That's been well documented, and we won't go over that again. But I think he can be a good player for us next season, and signs are there based on last Friday night.
Ian Crowley asked 3 questions. Like, this is Patreon level stuff here. If you're asking 3 questions for free on X, like, do you know what I mean? You might have touched on this in Academy Watch, but is the massive gap between Jayden's move early to Europe and Cahill waiting for UK getting more evident by the day? Both had injury troubles, but it looks like getting out early is trumping waiting around. Carey.
I don't know, like, I'd say Cahill is probably the bigger money move. Like, I'm sure he's on a better contract than maybe Jayden's on at Benfica, but look, obviously he went over there very, very young, and like, he could have easily just been cast aside once his first deal with Benfica was up and ended up in League 2 or the National League or something or whatever, you know. So, look, it's hard to know. I wouldn't say it's as cut and dry as that. And obviously, Cahill had, like, seriously debilitating injury at the worst possible time when he was, like, playing men's football at a regular level and or to a regular degree. And then all of a sudden, you know, just before the summer window comes, he does his cruise shit. Like, so, like, it was ridiculously bad luck timing for Cahill. So I wouldn't say there's a correlation there, really. No.
Ian Crowley also asks, we saw players in different positions and new partnerships across the field on Friday. All of this was forced through injuries and suspensions. Was there anyone in particular which stood out as a possible permanent, or as possibly a permanent change? E.g. Donal and Charlie, AJ, Greg. Dom. Sorry.
Well, yeah, like I already said, Donal O'Connor has probably put his name there to be considered. I don't think it will actually happen this year, but it's definitely worth considering. I suppose a lot like this playing around, putting people in different positions and stuff is more out of necessity. It's responding to a shortage of players as opposed to actually being the plan to go to test new things out. But I thought Niall O'Keefe did very well at right back. We don't really have like Harry Nevins or right back. That's another thing. His injury looked quite bad. I could see him being out for a while with it because, like, the way he was on the ball and he went down while on the ball or just after he played the ball or something. And when you see someone go down like that when it's not a tackle, you do think it could be quite bad. Now, they were saying in the commentary that it was his calf that he had an issue with, but I saw him at halftime coming out of the dressing room, and which was a good sign, I suppose, that he did come out and go onto the bench for the second half. And he didn't have a boot or he wasn't on crutches or anything like that, so that's also a good sign. But if you saw the way he was walking, he was fucked. His ankle was definitely gone, and it could be, yes, we might need a right back. Feely can play there, but yeah, Niall O'Keefe is a good shout.
Ian Crowley, is Bishopstown for everyone, or do aspects of the club have to resort to MSL club grounds instead? I presume academy teams are, yeah. Yeah,
even in my time, then unfortunately, like, Bishopstown wasn't usable at various times of the year and needed to be protected for the senior teams. So the teams do train, and I think it's even gotten worse, especially in pre-season. We have underage teams training all across Cork. Some using even GA all-weather pitches and Cork Schoolboys Leagues and Munster Senior League grounds when we can. Mayfield were good to us there as well. We even played academy games there during my time for a lot of our underage games. The
under-17 seem to have played most of their games in Mayfield this season. So.
Yeah. So, look, and it's a brilliant facility, and it was handy for me anytime I wanted to venture up to the north side there to watch us play at academy level. So, unfortunately, there just needs to be a better solution, and we've been given promises, and there was promises made to forest members and all this from board members or club owners in the last year and a half, 2 years. So remains to be seen. I'd probably guess we're probably going to go into cahoots with UCC or something with their new project out in the farm, but that's just a guess. I would say we'll piggyback on that somehow.
Connor Kay, has Barry's hesitance to give youth a chance turned around? Killian obviously brilliant, doing great things, and now with Ireland under 21s. Donal O'Connor looked like he's been playing senior football with years, and Kareem Fonseca also getting minutes. Will things be different now?
Dom just ranted about that earlier, and enough weren't given minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's just about necessity because we're so short that I could be wrong in the man. Maybe he has turned it around, but we'll just have to wait and see if he does.
Cillian Murphy, lads, to be fair, like I don't think he's Robson's player. Like, is he? Like, he's an academy star that's been coming up through the ranks, and he's even done brilliantly for like Ireland under 17s and 18s, and he's obviously been acknowledged. Like, even when he was playing there with Ireland under 18s, he was scoring goals and winning games for them as well against top nations. Like, it was like, this is the biggest no-brainer. He'll be gone, lads, I'd say. And whenever, when is he 18? Not for another
2 years.
Yeah. Like, if he can stay injury free now and touch wood and all that, best of luck to the lad, because he obviously, like, from what I hear about him, so like the amount of hours himself and his family have put into his development, like from the age of 11, 12 upwards. Like, so this is the kind of thing people don't see behind the scenes. Like, it's one of the things that annoys me sometimes about this God-given talent, or he was born with a great right foot. Like, the amount of effort and time that the parents put in, and the coaches and our academies, it's not just like 2 or 3 nights of training a week and a match on a weekend. Like, they're constantly kicking a ball, and they're doing private coaching, they're travelling up the country, going to FAI camps and training camps and stuff like that. It's crazy stuff.
That's proper parenting, if you ask me. But just on that, like for Cillian Murphy, for Cillian as a 16-year, I know, like, he's 16, he's playing professional football, but that's one thing because we're in a Mickey Mouse league and we're run in a Mickey Mouse way. So you've got kids having to play professional football. But to be called up to the Irish under-21 squad, where they didn't need to call him up. He doesn't need to be playing for them. They've seen something in him that said he needs to be playing at a higher level, which now they've given it. Like, that's massive. Yeah. A 16-year-old playing under-21
football. He could go out somewhere in Europe, lads. Like, especially with, like, we've obviously seen, like, Matthew Moore there. Well, did he win some German Cup with Hoffenheim? Do I see that as well today? Under 19s or something. He captained them. He got like Player of the Year as well. Was it for Ireland under 16s a couple of years ago? And like, geez, the clubs across Europe will be taking on these guys. It won't even just be a case of Cillian Murphy waiting till he's 18 to go to England. Like, I'd imagine sooner rather than later he'll be gone.
Val Maguire asks, any update on the PA system? Dom?
Well,
is the speaker still hanging from the?
Well, no, not 24th? That one, not the same one. But when I was at the Munster Senior Cup final, I did notice on the other end, down by the family enclosure, there was one. Like, it was a very windy day that day, and there was a speaker that was kind of blowing in the wind. I wanted to take a video to send it to you, but then I realised I was taking a video off the family enclosure, and that looked a bit weird, so I couldn't. But I'll have to keep an eye on that one. It's something we'll have to watch closely.
Some Final Destination thing going on there in the crossroads. Yeah.
You'll have to get a drone or something. Talk to Wayne about that when he comes back.
We've had a question, but they wanted to remain anonymous. Seeing as CCFC are for the ARC, by the way, seeing as CCFC are still trying to brew up investment, are there industries from which DEC would prefer to see people get involved? And likewise, are there industries that people who come from just don't seem to fit well in football? I could have used terms like synergies and alignments, but I leave that to the LinkedIn langers. I look forward to hearing the pod.
Yeah, so one part of the question anyway, business areas where people like shouldn't come from, maybe the wholesale toilets and bathrooms industries. But, that's the obvious joke, but yeah, quote unquote joke. But yeah, like I got to give the Varadkar answer to this one, Dan. Like I don't think there's like specific industries. Like you're probably looking at people that have great experience with like events and marketing and building a like that kind of tribal brand, not your kind of corporate brands and like, you know, how say like, you know, Guinness have built the Guinness brand over the last few years. Like, you know, look at, I know we talked about it last week about like Bose and the marketing job they've done on their merchandise and stuff like those types of things. People with those kinds of ideas, connections and like marketing nous that, you know, have their finger on the pulse and they know what drives people in this age, and we're not relying on dated methodologies or ideas. And ultimately, like, it's more about the personality type, really. Does anyone even know what what's your man's name? The guy from esports that came in there. Jesus, his name is escaping me. It was the guy that bought 20% of the club, or Cronin, yeah, sorry, Jesus, yeah, Cronin. Like, what, like, I know the ownership are trying to stay quiet or whatever, but, like, that again, look, maybe this is just me, because, look, I was the more outgoing club leader, I suppose. Like, I enjoyed the media aspects and going on podcasts and, like, but I feel like it's important that you have a personality type that you can control the narrative, whereas, like, I think after a couple of months of this new ownership that we have, it's not new anymore, of course, but the current ownership, like, they lost the control of the narrative, and that's what you need to maintain. And you maintain that control through your actions and your abilities, and you're delivering results for the fans. And even when like things are going badly, like controlling the narrative is so important. And like we weren't savvy from a PR perspective. We've brought in people as well, like external PR consultant firms and stuff like that. Like if you're doing all that stuff, like you have to kind of take a hard look at yourself and say, yeah, I don't really know enough about the footballing landscape in Ireland. I have to be bringing in all these people and these advisors, and they're giving me bad advice and terrible advice, and I'm making a mess of this. And, you know, so I think it's more personality type than specific business areas, I would say.
Surely largely gotten better now, though.
How do you mean?
The voice of him just not talking, or, you know?
I don't know about that. Like, fair enough. I think, look, let's leave the talking now to maybe, Liam Kearney and Derek Collin and Robson. But, like, you need to have a kind of a figurehead that people look to and say, yeah, that club is being run well and that guy speaks well, and, you know.
So who did it when you were in charge?
And me? Like, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here and say I did a great job or whatever, but, like, you know, all my time looking down the years, like, the chairman or the CEO, like, shouldn't be a silent figure. Unfortunately, in football, like, you have to be kind of somewhat present. And I don't know if Dermot's doing great work now still behind the scenes from a commercial aspect and doing brilliant work with sponsors and keeping Zeus happy and stuff like that. But
I don't know. I think, Dermot, I know you're listening. You're doing a great job keeping stum, I would say. Dan, what do you think on it?
As to whether he should be out there or not? Yeah, I'm like, I'm more than happy for him to stay quiet if he's doing the work in the background.
But that's because things went so badly. Like, yeah, that's exactly. That's because he made such a mess of it. Let's be honest. He called fans stippers and all those other, like, communication faux pas, and
but he's clearly not good at it. So yeah, like, he's better off staying out of it.
I do get Kerry's point that you want somebody who is good at it, who is doing that. So I don't know. Do you know what? I don't really care.
Person, or I don't know. It's hard to know. Like, and look, I was lucky too, because when I was doing it, the club was owned by Forrest, and everyone knew I wasn't doing this for profit or to put money in my back pocket or whatever. They knew that I was a Cork City fan for 20 odd years, and so I had a lot of credit in the bank. And we all did on the board. Like, we were all familiar faces, and everyone knew us and knew we were doing it for genuine reasons. And previous Forest boards, I think, got a lot of grace for that too, because no one was like drawing money from it or whatever. And we were investing membership fees, and people knew that when we brought out a new jersey, that it was to help put better players on the pitch. Whereas now it's like reducing the money that a multi-millionaire just has to put into the club. But look, that's just the nature of private ownership. But you need to then create that environment where people aren't so cynical about you in that sense, that people just think, oh, he's there to boost his own ego, or he's there to lessen the amount of money that he's putting into the club every year, but still try and win trophies because he's trying to, you know,
that ship is long sailed. You're never getting that back, I'd say.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So, look, to answer the question from that anonymous question asker, yeah, I think we need a new personality in that people can put their trust into, and to earn that trust needs a unique character that understands the landscape fully and doesn't start stepping in shit the first time they come in. Like, you get these people that come into League of Ireland, I feel, and it's happened to other clubs too. Like, I think Kerry had a bit of this, and Dundalk, obviously, over the last few years too. Like, and they just fucking step in shit as soon as they come into the environment. They don't know what they're dealing with. They try and, I think maybe too far ahead in terms of where the League of Ireland should be in the next 10 to 20 years. And they treat fans a bit like that. But, like, at the end of the day, like, these are, like, I always say this, people love and are passionate about the League of Ireland because it's not the Premier League, not because they think it will become the Premier League in 5 to 10 years. And if you think the opposite of that, and you think that everyone wants to be in shiny 20,000-seater stadiums with the best of food and the best of facilities and all this kind of stuff, you're gravely mistaken. Like, part of the lore of the League of Ireland is the gritty nature of it. But I just don't feel people understand that, unfortunately.
Right.
So there's no industry in particular that you're saying it's not about the industry, it's about personality.
Yeah, but as I said earlier, like, if you've got great experience with building those kind of, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of like tribal brands, or, you know, you've got that experience working with, like, startups kind of, and that have made it, whereas
there is no comparison between anything in sport.
No, it's hard.
No,
it's hard to answer that question and name specific industries. But like Brian Lennox was owned a chipper and a laundrette, like. But obviously he had huge knowledge of Cork soccer. It was ingrained in his family, you know. So it all comes down to personalities and the will to do it. And, you know, Brian Lennox, one of the most thick-skinned guys I've ever met. He sailed through rough times as well as owner of the club, and you need that too. And did he get that from dealing with drunk customers behind the counter of Lennox's chipper for all those years? Who knows? Or did he inherit it from his dad, who was like a great player for Cork Hibs? And who knows? But like, it's personalities at the end of the day, like.
All right, you should be back in charge, is what you're trying to say. Ultimately, is what we're circling back to.
That's very kind of you to say, Dan. But look, I'm happy now, and I'm, you know, happy in my retirement, and happy with my family and kids, and the legacy I have left. It's there, and it's untouchable. 7 trophies. 8, actually. Sorry, because we won the Munster Senior Cup as well in 2019. I forgot about that. I only remembered it when we won it a few weeks ago, and someone said, the first time we've won it since 2019. And I was like, I was chairman then. So 8 trophies. Need to redo that cover.
Dom, there's definitely been a lack of golden spiders. There's one missing out the trophy cabinet the past number of years, in fairness, in there.
Yeah, I mean, when you really look back as to where everything went wrong with Cork City, Definitely to do with the lack of golden spiders.
So, thanks to Declan McCormick for the anonymous question. We shall move it on. Do we have an SB of the week? I don't think we do. Or do we? Play the jingle anyway, we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
It's time for the SBMBS of the week.
All right.
Can I jump in with the first one? And it kind of ties in with what you were just joking about there with the golden spiders.
Your SB nominations are always definitely things we cannot use whatsoever because we will be sued and cancelled.
This one is actually apt because I noticed this on, was it Sunday? I went on the club's website just to see was there any kind of, did they post any news updates? I was looking for Commie Watch fucking material, to be honest. But you go on the website right now, and I know you joke about the lack of golden spiders and all that stuff. But you go on the website and the first thing, big huge banner, tickets available now for Cork City and Finn Harps. Like, that's the first thing you see. And it's now Monday night. And how long more will that be there? Probably until Wednesday when this pod comes out around 12 o'clock. And then by 1 o'clock it'll be something else. But like, there's nothing up on the main page. Like, you have to, you scroll down and it has like match preview away to Athlone, Derek Collin appointed women's manager, and match report of City 3 UCD 1. Like, that was weeks ago. Like, we played Treaty since and Harps and like, what is this? Like, sorry, no lads, but you know, it's an SB of the week nomination for me. Like, that's some bollocks. Like, you go on the club's website and get your tickets now for Finn Harps.
Damn.
Game's over for 3 days, and we won 4-0. There should be a big picture there of Rory Keating celebrating with the team and blah blah blah.
More pictures of Rory Keating, the better. Now, just
and he got a new haircut as well. By the way, I noticed
he looks good.
Longer hair and the hairband is gone. Nice one, Keats.
Yeah, no, it is great. In fairness, now just to clarify on that, I just had a look on the website. So as of now, when we're recording Monday night, it still says get your tickets for Finn Harps. But when you go into it, you can't actually buy tickets to see that match. Thankfully, that's what my big concern.
Oh yeah,
there
no,
was.
you don't. It's like it's advertising a game that was played 3 days ago and counting. Like,
so your high standards deck is that you would have that down Saturday morning.
I won't talk about high standards, lads, but if I just tilt my head slightly there, you'll see the standards.
A fake WWE belt.
I'll block that.
Get your head the other way.
It's in the top shelf there. Yeah.
The big one. Now, there was nomination on Twitter for Bows fans because they had a tifo up saying that was supposed to be the same tifo that the Rangers fans had used, both taking the piss out of their rivals who are Hoops. So I think it said, see a hoop, shoot a hoop or something. Which is Bows fans wanted to shoot Shamrock Rovers fans and Rangers fans wanted to shoot Celtic fans. But I think somebody pointed out that was an altered image and that's not actually what the Rangers tifo said. So,
was it the Rangers one was fake?
I think it was the Rangers one said something else. I'm not sure.
All right.
I don't know.
We'll have to postpone that nomination so unless we confirm the validity of it, sadly.
Mm-hmm. And on that, if people have been, like we said at the start of the season, for the toe tappers to nominate things as they see that come up. Sometimes we might miss it if you have been, but keep nominating them if you see something in case we miss it. Nominate away.
No one cares enough to nominate anything.
Someone did.
I like
Someone
this
obviously did.
Yeah, this is where we got one. But the main one for me is Tony O'Donoghue, all of the RTE commentators, all of the reporters, and everything after that great
Red FM were added too, I think.
Red FM, yeah. It was a massive achievement for Jaden Umeh to come on against Qatar. Absolutely incredible. It was so nice to see a familiar face. But of course, he's familiar to us too as Cork City fans because he played for Cork City. But you wouldn't have known that if you were only relying on RTE and other media, because they all had him down just as a former Ringmahon Rangers player. Now, it's great to give a Munster Senior League team a shout out like that, but it does have to be pointed out that he never played senior football for Ringmahon Rangers. He hasn't even played senior football for Benfica. If you look up Jayden Umeh on Wikipedia, his only appearances are for Cork City. So when he played on Thursday, that was his first senior appearance since he left us in 2024. So he's a former Cork City player. Yeah, he's a former Ringmahon Rangers Academy player, but he's also a former Cork City Academy player. But more importantly, he's a former Cork City professional player. And that was just completely forgotten about.
Yeah, he made senior appearances for Cork City.
His last senior appearance before Thursday was for Cork City.
Yeah.
He's a Benfica Academy player, a Ringmahon Rangers Academy player, a Cork City Academy player. But all the reports, they just left Cork City out of it. Just thought it was a bit,
and all the times
insulting.
he played for Ireland at underage level, like 15, 16, 17s, he was, he was a Cork City player. Like, I don't understand this. This kind of refusal. It's so common, or was so common. I have to say it's intentional.
It has to be.
And like, I can't give. Like, why would you not say that? Like, why would you not say former Cork City player Jayden Umeh, or like great for a great prospect guy who developed through the League of Ireland ranks as well and went to Benfica from Cork City. Like, fair enough, yeah, he played with Ringmahon as a boy and whatever. And look, you know, it's weird. It's weird. I can't figure out why. And Red FM as well, I think, were the same. They called him former Ringmahon and no mention of Cork City in the news briefing when he after he came on for Ireland. Why is my voice getting so squeaky? I don't know.
No, it is.
It's weird. It's weird, lads.
Like, it's great that they are acknowledging his time with Ringmahon Rangers, because I think that's something that should happen more. That it's not the professional teams that develop a player. They should absolutely. But it's just it's not. We're not giving out that they said that he was Ringmahon Rangers player. It's the fact they just completely overlooked probably the.
Is it that there's so many Ringmahon guys?
I think it's because of the Kelleher thing. I think it's because of the Kelleher thing.
Well, not just Kelleher. Let's be fair to him. Like, you've Kelleher, you've Alan Brown.
They're trying to make a point that so many great players are coming through, I would say, and
we're trying to put logic.
Also, no one cares about Cork City anyway. I just don't. I just think no one gives a shit, lads, and that's where it kind of starts and ends.
Yeah,
I don't think there'll be no great conspiracy. There'll be no nothing. They just saw Kelleher from Ringmahon go on to do what he's done. Obviously,
another lad come.
They want to put him. So
it is. Look, lads, it is phenomenal to have. You say Alan Brown was in the squad too, wasn't he? So we've got like 3 players from Ringmahon. Like, that is savage.
How many golden spiders do Ringmahon have?
None.
There
you know that for a fact?
Says a lot, really.
I absolutely know for a fact. Yeah.
But no, to be fair, so just like fair play to Ringmahon Rangers. They're clearly doing a lot right in their academy, and that is great to see.
Right, who's SB of the fucking week anyway? And we can leave here because we've no preview.
What do you think?
I'd say it has to be that, doesn't it? The media refusing to acknowledge that he played with. Look, it's some bollocks. Who is the some bollocks aimed at? Is it the Cork City FC hierarchy for making us such a shit show that the media don't even give a shit about mentioning us when this happens? Yeah, fair enough.
RTE deserve it. They were the worst. Fuck them.
Congratulations to and all the media, Dom. I think it's just all the media that refuse to acknowledge this. So yeah, it's congratulations.
I disagree to any current or future employers listening wholeheartedly with what the lads are saying.
I know why he's that was quiet when this comes up.
Declan Carey and Dominic Heffernan's SB of the week. So
it's time for the SB MBS of the week.
No
Just in time
preview,
for
lads.
Love Island, lads, is it? We're all good?
I think we're all good. Dom, anything you want to add?
Yeah, something I only thought while we were recording.
Oh, fuck. Actually, no, forget it.
This is
on.
TOTAP history. Today is TOTAP history. It's the first episode of TOTAP without the original other three amigos. Do you know, this was...
Oh, my God. No
what?
way. We've overtaken the two old fucks.
And it's also the first time the
Young blood
average age
in
of
now.
podcast has gone below 30, so... or 40, whatever. But,
Jesus. That's actually, yeah. I'm on the other end of that, Dom, unfortunately. Like, it'll be my...
it's alright, we're bringing it down for you.
A year and a half. I know, yeah.
God.
Although Wayne thought there for a while I was like in my mid-40s, which was scandalous. So, yeah.
You don't look a day past
I will
50,
just say as well. Yeah, I will say as well on a more serious note, lads. I know you announced this a few weeks ago when I wasn't here, but the partnership now we have with the Féileacáin fathers, and just wanted to share some updates from them as well. So obviously they do great work for, unfortunately fathers that go through a very difficult situation with childbirth, and by all means, please check them out on their website, Instagram. We share a few bits on Instagram too about them, but they do a monthly 5-a-side. Their next one is in June. So I think they play it in District up in Silver Springs. So if anyone's interested, they love seeing new people turn up and bringing people into their community. And if anyone's interested, by all means, reach out to them. Head over to their Instagram there. It's Féileacáin Fathers South, and we're delighted to support them for the season and be our official charity partners.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Anything else you want to add, lads? Are we good to go? Adios, amigos, and all that.
Apologies to all the toe tappers for what we've done today. what we've done with their podcast, and to Wayne,
Episode of the
Dickie,
year.
and
Episode
Trina.
of the.
At least this one has been a fucking crack anyway, without those two miserable bastards on it. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
It was good. It was good fun.
Anyone see WWE Clash in Italy last Sunday? Anyone check it out?
no.
For our new WWE segment of TOTAP. Hold on, I'll get the jingle.
That's the lads logging onto the forum to give out about you.
That's it, yeah. Our rest in peace TOTAP. It's now the other WWE podcast.
Alright, lads, we finish it up. Adios, amigos. Adios, toe tappers. I'm off the Portugal fuckers, so yeah, see ya.
Oh, Jesus,
Whenever.
nice one, Dan.
Really?
Enjoy. Zero miedo, amigos.
Adios, amigos, and come on, Limerick.
Hey there, Toe Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mikado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/ToeTap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.